And that was as he stopped. We had a porthole open. I looked out. The sky was clear, the stars were shining, the sea was dead calm. And I thought couldn't understand. So I came out of my cabin and I thought, I'd go forward. And I went forward to the well deck on the starboard side. And I could see.
It is Thursday night. It is Heroes and Hooligans. It is Kamatchkalan Chronicles, and I am not Jason, but we are here to do the damn thing while Jason is enjoying himself at a freaking concert. Hope it's fun, boss man. Hope it's a lot of good time fun. And we're going to do some other things. So while I will be your button pusher from behind the scenes, everybody else is also going to be a major part of today's story. And we're going to jump right into it after somebody gives us a recap that's not me.
I can attempt if desired.
You go for it. You got it.
Very good.
Yeah, that's you.
When last we gathered on these here ocean seas, we were becalmed in a fog and attempted to tow ourselves away, but people lost their minds. It turned out that the coral was getting it on, so we blew up the coral. Unfortunately for us, at that point, there was a giant shark. So we blew up the giant shark. Well, beat up, rather. And then there were tentacles. And the tentacles caused some problems. Specifically, they kidnapped our captain. And when we got our captain back, his chest exploded and slithered off somewhere on the ship.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Humping coral, giant sharks, exploded sharks, tentacle monster, captain, chest burster. Here we are. So, in the light of losing our captain, somebody has to step up to pilot the ship or tell people what to do. I'm just going to nominate the first officer friends because I don't know dick shit about sailing, only about flying. Secondly, we should send some of these idle hands to go search for that little alien creature while Nyrese prepares the captain's body for some funeral rites once we make land again. And has anybody seen S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No.
Not since the little meat explosion downstairs.
Is he being a meat shield?
Not just yet.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
hello, Shield. You missed a lot of tentacles.
And we have a dead captain. You also missed that.
The two are related.
Well, you've all been busy.
Yeah, very, very busy. Lots of slapping around tentacle things that we could have used your slapping around self to help with. Where the hell were you?
I was doing ambiguous shield things below deck.
Ambiguous shield things below deck during all of this chaos. You know, that sounds about right. And anxiety-inducing as it is, my friend. So listen, I'm glad you're here, Shield. Because
were you at that giant tea party that Neris was throwing?
Maybe.
when the fuck did she have a tea party, and why weren't we invited?
We were busy dealing with the tentacles while she was using the tea.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was, that was totally her idea.
I don't think it was. I thought it was some. Anyway, Shield was probably at the tea party. He strikes me as a tea party type.
I was
I'm
at the
guessing
tea
you
party.
really like the little cucumber sandwiches, don't you, Shield?
They are absolutely. Listen. I would kill several men for another cucumber sandwich right this moment.
Do you stick your pinky feather out when you're eating them?
I don't have feathers, but I do lift a finger.
Same concept, maybe. I don't know. My feathers are kind of glorious in comparison. Close enough. Since we're hanging out and other people are handling the heavy business, we should talk about things. Like, first of all, and Olivera will fly over to a table that has lots of beer mugs on them from everybody getting up and going back to work, and pick one up and drink the rest of it. What the fuck just happened?
Well, we decided we wanted to gather a bounty, so we followed the captain onto the boat. And
No.
then
That's
Sigh,
a slight literal
sigh.
translation.
They weren't asking for an exact, detailed.
Oh,
It was a rhetorical question.
More along the lines of, what the fuck just happened, actually, than a rhetorical question. Because giant sharks I can deal with, giant tentacles I only like to deal with in my dreams, but here we were dealing with them in person, and then exploding chest, and that tentacle was big enough to squish a giant shark that was as big as this 400 wing long boat.
that is, I think, and I'm gonna kind of lean over and dip a finger in some ink and just write out Mushulu. I don't want to say it because I feel like they might be listening.
A bit superstitious, huh?
If you had been liberated into the Feywild against your will, you might be superstitious too.
Yeah, I
Also,
suppose.
if you had a pyromaniac owl sorcerer living in your branches, you might be overly cautious as well.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not you.
I could roost on your armor for a while, Naime, if you'd like.
I
Just
think
don't
that
shit
sounds
on
like
it.
a great
I'll be
time
okay.
for you two to bond.
I am a sophisticated owlin. We shit in our designated shitting branches, not on somebody's combat armor. Thank you very much. And I like the 3-ply leaves better than the 2.
I will keep that in mind if I ever have to buy you leaves.
You
I
won't.
usually buy them. Sai sheds them, and it saves us both money.
So you still haven't disproved my theory that you shit in their branches.
No, I said I recycle the leaves. Didn't
Okay.
anybody ever teach you don't shit where you eat? I oftentimes eat inside branches. I would never want to shit there also.
So we've been
It
away
only
from
shits on
shore.
one of my branches, and I kind of wiggle one of the back branches.
We've been away from shore with no branches. Where have you been going?
You know,
She's been holding it for 3 days.
I
Ugh.
found
Talk about constipation.
a spot actually at the old crow's nest that if you go all the way out the edge of the piece of wood that it sits on at nighttime, nobody can see you, and you're guaranteed not to hit somebody because they're not moving about. I think
Okay.
it's port side. Maybe it's the starboard side. Maybe, I don't know.
Left or
the
right?
means to the bow. Alvira will up their wings and make their feathers into the shape of an L. The one that makes that right L, the right shaped one, not the backward.
So that would be pork.
Starboard.
Yes.
If it
Starboard's right.
I know that. She said the right L, not the LL.
The correct L.
Oh,
the correct shape.
L.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, I can see the confusion there. Yeah. All right. Well, I will make sure not to wander over on the starboard side or port side at night then. But all that
I
aside,
just feel bad for the deckhands. They've been wondering why it was so hard to swab the deck in the morning.
Hey.
So yeah, chest caterpillars, is that not normal?
no.
Not usually, no.
Not in people's chests, maybe more like in trees or bushes or maybe even on a flower leaf. I've seen caterpillars, but in all my traveling across this whole place, I have never in my entire wingspan seen some shit like that.
Yeah, I can say I've seen some shit too, and that has not been one of them.
I've seen many insects. I've seen many insects that kill people. I've not seen insects that burrow inside of you and then burst out of your chest.
But it wasn't really like an insect. It was like I don't know. Have you ever seen those little blue lizards that crawl under rocks, and if you touch them and they're slimy, it makes your feathers sting?
I thought it was
It
more
looked like a
insect
giant
booger.
one of. It was a booger? What's a booger?
You know when humanoids sneeze and those things come out their nose, it looked like a really big sentient booger.
Double gross.
Evil truly knows no bounds.
Yes.
How did it get inside of him? Because
I'm
we've
get-
been on this shit.
I'm guessing that when this giant squid thing grabbed the captain and drug him underwater, that's when he was implanted.
Absolutely vile. But probable.
Agreed.
But I thought that those things that stuck to like giant animals underwater, like those things that stick by shark fins, I thought they stayed on the outside. Like, if it just transferred that over, why would it go on his inside and break out of his chest and said like stick next to his gills like a normal creature?
I think we might need to inspect the body. If Neris will let us.
Well, whenever I went over by Neris when I asked her if she would prepare the captain, and her first word was no, because that's like what she was doing quartermasterly. And then I told her dead person, and then she told me, and I directly quote, "If you don't get out of my way, I will bury you farther under size roots than you will ever be able to fly out of." And she ran past me. So I think maybe we should let her just do Neris things.
I think Neris has taken that whole quartermaster position to a little too much to heart.
I am so incredibly proud of her.
You would.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Shield, you would be.
The quartermaster saying no is an integral part of every army. Or ship, as it were.
Well, I mean, it's still a ship, just a captainless one. Is a ship still a ship if it doesn't have a captain, or is it just a floating log?
I don't know.
It is still a ship.
Is a ship still the same ship if the ship has constant repairs over time, and at the end of the repairs, almost every single original piece of the ship that was there is replaced with something new? Is it still the same ship, or is it an entirely different ship?
Well,
I heard
can
this
ask
You
one
them.
from
ever
a
visit the
philosopher
same
once.
river twice?
What'd you say about the river?
Do you ever visit the same river twice? We've
Yes.
had this conversation, Elvira. Do you? Because the water's never the same.
Well, I mean, it's named the same.
I feel like this is the most
And if the
sober
ship-
we've ever had this conversation. Should we get drunk? It usually makes more sense when we're drunk.
I've heard of a few Kyrogens discussing anatomy of humanoids, and if I remember correctly, take it for what you will. They were plastered at the time. That every so many years, something like 7 to 10 or something like that, we shed enough skin and stuff like that we could essentially be a whole nother person. So
Especially when you consider the fact that experiences and memories are cumulative. Are you who you were before you had them?
You know,
Particularly,
so you open the box, Bird.
I know, but I'm just like thinking about the shedding of the skin part, and it makes me really glad I don't have skin.
Yeah,
you
but
have
don't you
skin,
molt?
it's under
Don't
your
you get
feathers.
you drop your feathers?
And you do have skin. It gets itchy, remember? Sometimes you have to take a dust bath to make it stop itching.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more like human skin, I guess. Feathers are glorious. Skin is just eh.
You know what could be worse? Rather than humans, we could be traveling with Yuan-Ti. I heard they shed all at once.
Ew. Aren't those the big snake
Like,
people?
yeah,
Listen,
like
They are. It's a
reptiles.
mess.
Yeah.
there's
I
only
mean, I'm sure they're lovely, but the shedding all at once thing just sounds uncomfortable.
I don't know. I think that's incredibly efficient.
Of
there
course,
are only two things in this world I'm scared of, Sai. Complete and total war and Wan Ti, because they smell like cabbage and they have small hands, and I am not okay with them.
Cabbage, really?
I mean, I shouldn't judge. I am deciduous.
But cabbage.
Speaking of which, I would really like to not be on the ocean when it's time to drop my leaves. So we should figure out if we're going back to port or what. I don't really feel like we should take the giant sentient booger back to port, though.
Are we
Yes.
sure it's even still on the ship?
No.
Well, we can conduct a thorough search, but yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
If we search, we should probably search in small groups or pairs.
Yes, but also I would like to kind of get the ship back to port as soon as possible since it has a dead captain, because we already got accused of killing somebody once that we didn't kill, and I would hate to find ourselves in those same boots again, because those are a pair of boots I do not want to wear a second time. Is that a right analogy? Did I get this
Agreed.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Elvira, you
yeah.
never wear boots.
Valid. But if I did, I wouldn't want to wear the same ones 2 times. Also, Sai, you have received an inspiration from the glorious powers that be because of your delicious comment.
Thank you.
Deciduous comment.
Oh, deciduous, not just. Why did I read that wrong? Wow, what a dick.
Freudian.
Anyway, this is why I'm
Yeah,
the
I
bard,
know.
not the wizard, because
Hey, I say we get the first mate to turn the ship around, head to port. We can search on our way, and in the meantime, I'm good for
I have an alternative
lots
solution.
and lots of ale.
I like that part of things, but my suggestion is that before we are fully in port, we carefully evacuate the ship and then we kill it with fire.
Agreed.
Fire burns
I like that.
wood.
We could just
I like
burn
that.
down the ship.
Just
This is-
torch
I
this
have
is
no
very
ship
investment
good
in
plan.
it.
still out at sea so that the booger thing cannot get to
only
shore.
one small problem with that.
Mm.
We're missing some of our boats, the little boats that get people off of the ship.
We might have to make a few trips, but don't you think it's plus, Elvira, it's a chance for you to light a really big fire.
She's right.
I
The
mean-
tree is right.
I like lighting fires. I like committing. I don't like committing crimes or arsony, but I also stand in reservation of What if the giant booger is in one of the people that we get off the boat? I think we should just get off the boat on ourselves, by ourselves, and let them moor out in the deeper waters instead of going all the way in. And then when we get in, we can tell that crazy mayor that doesn't really know how to do things to go solve the problem. And then maybe the booger will get in them, and then I won't have to run against them. I can just replace them. Wow, that's a great plan.
I
That's a great
think
Wow.
I'd rather not go with that one.
Wow.
If it's if it's all the same to you.
What if we go hire that very effective security company to come handle this problem?
You
The
know.
one that we can't identify? Sure.
The
But
ones
if
that
you could
work
way to
for the
identify
booger
them,
monster.
we could pose as people who are trying to hire them to get them. Don't capitalists come out of the woodwork when you offer them money?
Usually, but only if you have enough money to offer them. And also, don't they work for the booger monster? Isn't that why we were investigating them in the first place? Didn't they have all of that kind of stuff going on to them? Vestment intermodal or whatever, and their little creepy kids singing that little creepy tentacle person song?
That's a nice song. It's the one about Moshulu.
Don't say it! Don't say it!
God,
I'm just singing the
God
song.
damn it. No singing that damn song. Like, that is a cursed song right there.
You could sing the oars on the boat go round and round, round and round.
Up and down, up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah, that. I'm directionally challenged when it's not with my wings. Anyways,
yeah, this entire region seems to be under some spell of this creature, this mythological M word. And I would rather not perpetuate it.
Okay.
How
do
when
we know
I-
it is malevolent?
Well, I never seen nice people put booger monsters inside of a perfectly fine captain and blow up their chest before.
All the more reason that we don't need to advertise.
And don't you remember the look of those things that it stuck on the ship we had to fight? Like, those things came from its tentacles. They looked at us like they were envious of our continued existence that they no longer had. Don't you remember those ugly things?
Mostly,
I think I was-
remember the overwhelming urge to slap people and being afraid to stop playing the bird pipes.
Yeah, that was when they were still acting cuckoo magoo. But after the cuckoo magoo part, we got that sorted out, blew up the horny coral, and then was Giant Shark, which really reminded me of a play that I watched another bard put on a long time ago. It was called Maws, and it was about a giant thresher maw that just ate a lot of people, and then they had to kill it. And this was a giant shark instead, though. But it was very, very crazy because those things, like, it put those things on the ship. Do you think that's what that booger turns into? The booger that came out of the captain's chest? Do you think they turn into those creatures that the tentacle monster just plopped on the boat in front of us? It's a conspiracy.
It is probably a conspiracy. I do not know if that is their life cycle. Shield, do you know anything about the life cycles of booger sharks?
The beginning and middle, not so much. I've mostly interacted with the end part of that.
Naime, do you know anything about the life cycle of booger sharks?
Considering I don't know what the booger shark actually is, no.
I'm going to fly to a very specific branch of your tree, the one that I make owl scratch notes on all the time, and I'm going to write booger shark origins ?
Well, in the meantime, we should probably try to find this thing.
No, I don't think that's actually... I have a lot of stupid ideas, but that is stupider. I do not want to find that giant thing.
So
If
what?
it
We
blows
just
the captain's guts, it's going to blow up our guts too.
Only if it gets inside of them.
Well, some of us don't have guts, Sai, but the rest of us do.
leave it to run rampant among the crew.
Oh, the little thing, not the big thing. Okay. I'm okay
Yeah,
with
the
like
little
searching
thing.
for the little guy.
Yeah, the little thing, not the.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
trying to go
All right.
Eldritch God hunting.
All right,
I'm
my
trying.
wings are in the air here. All right. I thought you were talking about the giant booger guy.
One problem at a time.
You know, I just have one more question while we're get to go search and I refill my mug that didn't originally belong to me with somebody else's beer off of the table into it. So we're trying to figure out what just happened. My second question that my bird brains have me thinking is, what does this all mean? Like, we go to we find the dead guy, then we get blamed for the dead guy. We get on the case for the dead guy to investigate it so we can get off the hook. We go to the inn. We possibly wrongfully convicted somebody. Gendley doesn't exist. And then we go into the basement of the inn and find this weird ship like resemblance, like somebody didn't want to give up the pirate life and turned in their living quarters to a pirate life. And we found some stuff there, some weird songs, some creepy music. And we go and still are investigating. And then we're doing the investigation stuff. We find out a bunch of innocent people were actually killed. And then you got these little creepy kids singing a song about a giant tentacle booger monster that explodes sharks and captains. And then when we come back, we find out that the people that told us to wrongfully convict the guy aren't even existing. And there's seawater in a place that shouldn't be seawater. This is all very crazy, but what does it mean?
It means we are not very good at being heroes.
There is obviously a cult for this M-person creature thing, and it is pervasive in this area, as I mentioned previously. I mean, that's what the ritual space down below the inn was. The innkeeper obviously was in on that. Then we've got this weird song that seems everybody in the area seems to know, or at least everybody involved with investment intermodal or the fuck that
Investment
company is.
intermodal.
But yeah, there's definitely a cult, whether it's in voluntary or involuntary. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of compulsion or enchantment thing going on.
Yeah, is it? That's what I was just gonna say. Is it a cult if they're being controlled? Maybe the booger giant monster thing has them under their control or something. Maybe
that's
somebody was
possible.
messing around with one of those little spirit boards that you're not supposed to play with if you don't know what you're doing, and they just got that giant booger thing out of some place it should have just stayed, and now this is the ramifications.
Well, what
This is
if
very convoluted.
What if they want to give themselves over to the M booger?
Well,
Why
some are
would you want to do
weak-willed.
that?
Some were weak-willed, but sometimes if the magic is too powerful, then you can't really help yourself.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. We could talk about it sometime when you like me more.
I tolerate you.
You don't need any more tally marks for reasons to let me get dead in the middle of a giant booger monster combat sometime.
I am not.
I will not let her let you die.
Either way, I'm just saying. I don't need any more black stains on my feathers. I got enough.
No, your feathers are very clean.
You'd think I'd actually just let you die? Man.
Well,
Thought
I
I'd
mean,
at least done you better than that recently.
Well, so before I met Sai, I was on a pirate ship, right? And before I got off the pirate ship, they left me to die.
Sided?
No,
Oh,
Sai was,
the pirates.
yeah.
I just
Gotcha.
wandered down the beach and found her there. And I said, hello? And she said,
Yes, just like that.
I did not leave her to die. I would not leave anyone here to die. Except Shield, maybe if I couldn't find him. But that's not the same as leaving him to die. That is not knowing where he has gone.
No, that's fair. I'd do the same.
But yeah, the pirates, they were all right sometimes, but the ship that we were on got attacked by this giant water monster that looked like a tornado. Thought it was one of those storms, like a hurricane that we just went through, and it looked like a giant tornado, and it shredded the boat to bits. And when they got on the one little boat, they just left me, and there was enough room in the boat for me too, but they were very selfish. And lucky I found a piece of door and got on it. Nobody else was occupying that door, but if they needed to, I would have made room.
There were room for two on the door?
There was room for two on the door.
Yeah, there might have been room, but it's also about weight distribution.
I'm very light and very buoyant, as long as my feathers aren't soaked all the way down to the undercoating, because if my down feathers get soaked, then I get sick.
Yeah, but then if somebody much heavier than you tried to get on the other side of the door, it would have pushed you off and then back into the water.
Oh, she and I have practiced this. If the heavy person just spreads themselves out across the door, then she can climb on their back.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would.
Where there's a willow, there's a way. Side?
That is what my gardener always said.
But I don't think that you would maliciously leave me. It's just we don't have a good rapport build up between the two of us. And if you had to save your bark or save mine, you know where the feathers land. Sometimes you just don't know where the feathers land until you know somebody a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was on that ship from the time I was just a wee hatchling. That captain got me he won me from a poker game right hatched out of my egg. And just left me. All of the nights I had to listen to him cry about that sea leg Jenny girl that he wanted to go back to port and be with, and he just left me. Don't ask me why she had her sea legs living on land. Long story, inappropriate.
Well, that is just dishonorable.
Well,
I can tell you that if I am running a job with you, then I'm not going to just discard you.
I would save your bark too. And plus, I like it when you're the nice version of you, which I think I have questions, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm properly understanding correctly by all of my deductive reasonings, there are two pieces to your puzzle that walk on this earth. Well, on this boat currently. One part of your puzzle is a nice part, and the other part, one sweet, one sour, like my favorite candy.
Just shoot a glance to Sai.
It wasn't Sai that paddled. It was actually interbrainwave communications, and somebody with a nicer, sweeter tone responded to me rather than one overly coated in citric acid.
I spent years developing that citric acid. Thanks.
You were stunned at the time, and we needed backup.
There have been several moments where you've been incapacitated, and a more polite version of yourself likes to swing the blade, as it were.
In my defense, I was trying to apologize to you when she
That's
mentioned
true.
things. But we like you too.
We like both of you, but I think, as the saying goes, Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Only if you want to.
Yeah, I suppose I shouldn't pry. Sai did teach me to have better manners than that.
What do you want to know?
Well, for starters, how come you're not always nice? And
I'm
second,
downright nice.
how
Elvira,
wanna be-
there you? I'm teasing. It's the ale talking. Also, how does two people get to live in one place at the same time? Imagine if there were two Alviras in one set of wings.
Oh my god.
That's very loud.
No. Yes. I think that would be a storm of sound. A never-ending one.
Well, I am a bard.
So anytime that I've been nice, you're not actually talking to me, and as I will be able to confirm this story because I know they've heard it before. That is actually my sister, Suda. Twins.
You have a sister?
In part. Just part of her, anyway. Specifically, her spirit.
did you always share one body, or did you ever have your own?
We were born apart, yes. She had a corporeal form. And I would say that she was just as lovely as you know her when you've gotten to talk to her. She was the favorite child. Our family was well off enough. Not like kingly rich, but we did well. Had plenty of highbrow guests and stuff, and I just never cared for it myself. I didn't like the frills. I liked swordplay and getting out and exploring. Suda liked the dinners and the etiquette and being dainty. But ultimately, she liked, or she wanted to make sure that I was safe. So she would follow me to very dangerous places. Whether we were just exploring some cavern or traipsing through the woods, she'd follow me anywhere. And that's how we ended up like this. One of the times we ran into something that we couldn't handle. And she died in a way. And somehow, through some magic or other, got saddled up in my head.
Well, dainty is for the swans anyway. But I think the two of you make a good pair of legs.
We've worked we've worked really hard to be able to. We've worked very hard on our teamwork. You know, it's how we survive. Because I won't let anything else happen to her. And maybe somewhere out there, there's a way that she can be in her own body again.
I saw that in a play once. There was this guy, I think they called him a necromancer, and he was able to give bodies back spirits again and make them do what he wanted them to do. I know it's probably not what you really want, but I think maybe it's a possibility.
My druid told me that if we succeeded in our fight against organized gardening, that he would gain the power to do something like that. Maybe if we can help Neris grow strong enough, she can learn the spell.
And we've been doing this for over a decade now. And I admit that I'm losing hope of finding a solution.
Well, I want you to not stop believing and hold on to that hopeful feeling. Because someday we will find a second body. It maybe might not be as good as the first one, and you might not look the same, but with enough magic and makeup, you could be twins all over again. Look, all right. So that way you don't have to be sad by your own self right now, because this is a very depressing thing, and I'm sorry that I asked you, but it's a really cool thing that you shared your story with me. I think that makes us friends now. So that means I can tell you a story too, but you can't make it a black stain on my feathers when I tell you.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not crazy, I promise, because I thought I was for a very long time. So I told you the pirate won me at a poker game. And I was just a very young hatchling, and I was just all by myself, and he wasn't really a very nice guy. And so I was lonely a lot, and I had an imaginary friend. And the imaginary friend was this round, kind of fluffy guy with these big eyes, and he had these long tentacles. And he was kind of flumpy, but his name was Bing Bong. And so Bing Bong and I, we hung out a lot, and he did smell like cotton candy too, and he made noises like a dolphin sometimes. And so when I was lonely and stuff, that was my friend. We played cards and things like that, and I learned how to read cards, which I'm still kind of learning, but he did teach me how to read some cards and stuff. And when I was laying on before Sai found me, and I was an older bird, and I still had this imaginary friend all of my bird day. I thought was when I got older, because I thought only kids had imaginary friends, like little young chick birds, you know what I'm saying? But when I got to be a bigger bird, something was foul, because I had my imaginary friend still. He wasn't mean or anything like that. But when I was laying on the beach before Sai found me, I had this like crazy black vision, and my eyes changed color. And my imaginary friend told me that they weren't imaginary my whole existence, and they were a magical being. And I know this sounds crazy, but I promise it isn't, because it's how I learned how to do fire stuff. And we kind of have this like weird mental connection, and they taught me how to do some magic.
Huh.
Are you sure it's not just another tree talking in your head?
No, it wasn't a tree.
Okay. But I talk in your head all the time, too.
That's because my imaginary friend taught me how to do it.
And what happened to your imaginary friend? What happened with Bing Bong?
Well, it turns out Bing Bong's real name is Carl. And Carl went back to his flock, I guess, after he gave me magic, but we still have some sort of like telekinetic connection, and he still teaches me things from far away. I don't know. He said maybe it's magic or maybe you're born with it, but for some reason we were able to make a connection and he was able to impart his ways onto me because I just had some sort of innate magical abilities, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think I was special, but I guess I was. I thought I was crazy. I really, really thought like I was losing it from a bird being on the ocean all the time when I should have been in the air or on the land and stuff, you know? But in my moment of I think I'm gonna fucking die, something said, no, you're not. And then here comes Psy. So boom. Magic, boom, Psy. Awesome. But still weird.
So
I
this
have never met Carl the Bing Bong,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean he didn't put me there.
So does this Carl like ask you for things in return?
I don't. He never really said, hey, I want something from you. It was more like this sort of like, we're friends, you know? I don't know. Maybe Carl just felt bad because I was feeling sorry for myself. So maybe Carl was feeling sorry for me too. Hence why I drummed up a whole imagine in the first place. Well, I thought I did. Maybe Carl was drawn to loneliness or something. I don't know. It was very interesting, and I would love to learn what Carl really is so I could study it someday and understand the heightening of my magical powers. But I think your sister's body is more important than understanding my Carl.
I think your sister's body is very important, as
Reasonably
is
so.
yours.
Well, her body is currently buried on our family's estate. So anyway, what's your story, Shield?
Well, it's a simple one. I'm sure you've heard it 100 times.
No, we haven't. That's why she asked you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, a different man from me once served in a night order dedicated to a particular god. You may have heard me pray to him before, Vikhea Vikhari.
I don't usually follow Dedegram. Can you?
He's a protector, the shield of the innocent, punisher of the wicked. A noble god, a righteous god. Usually followed by noble and righteous men.
I can get behind that.
As could a younger man. A
I
younger
still
man
know.
who... You're good.
What'd you say, Elvira?
Well, a younger man than me could have also gotten behind that and grew up with this knightly order and learned to follow the orders, learned to swing the sword, learned to protect and punish. And so it was that we were sent out, away from a homeland of sword. And it's when a younger man started to question some things.
What things?
And do you remember that field? The butchered innocents, the non-combatants.
Yes.
I've been on the other side of that before. It didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with him. So he started asking questions. Asking questions started becoming swinging blades. Swinging blades became chains around wrists. Chains around wrists became a blade through the heart. But Vicari wouldn't let a younger man stay down. He gave him another purpose.
Which was?
So Shield was born from that younger man.
Mm.
And whether it's by the dictates of a knight commander or by someone's own heart, Shield would protect the innocent and punish the wicked. And Shield doesn't really have a home anymore, per se. I like the wandering life. I take to it pretty well.
I've enjoyed aspects of it, certainly.
It's nice not having to answer to anybody. Well, aside from the God looming over your mortality and your own morality. But it's nice not having to answer to other mortals.
Not having a master, of living on your own wits and on your own skill. Yeah. I used to fantasize about this kind of life, honestly, when I was a young girl. And then after the incident, it just became a necessity because our parents, they blamed me for the whole thing. So they had lost their prize daughter.
You didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
I hope it's not rude to say, Naime, but your parents are kind of cunts.
Indeed, the bird is right.
I
It
don't.
is rude, but it is not wrong to say it in this case.
I
I agree with you, but I also agree with them that it was my fault.
Nope, it's not your fault. It wasn't your fault because all living beings that are not under some sort of enchantment spell by another living or non-living being make their own decisions, especially if you were at an age to be wandering on their own. Everybody fully well consented to what they were getting into. And instead of scorning you for something that was definitely not your fault, they should have spent time loving you and cherishing what left instead of what they lost. Because to live in the past is to die in the future. And I read that in a book somewhere, but I feel like it applies here very importantly.
I'm not sure you know how time works. Or maybe I don't know how time works.
A wise tree once told me time is a weird soup.
I know that is true.
I will drink to that.
For what it's
Do you need
worth,
another
Suda
drink?
chose to walk
I'll
that
fill
path, and I think Suda would do it again.
I mean, I guess you could
Exactly
ask
what
her if you wanted to, but
I don't think she thinks it's your fault.
from my perspective, if I hadn't gone exploring that day, she might still be alive.
So because you wanted to be a goose instead of a swan, there's an issue here? I don't think that's really how it goes. Not everybody is meant to be a dainty little pretty feathered dancer on a regular basis, and you wanted to adventure. I think that's totally legit, living up to your dreams, or however it is, whatever it was.
I do not know much about many things, but when someone hungry comes to the garden, they will eat. And if they don't eat you, they will eat someone else. And I think perhaps if they hadn't found Suda and you, they would have found someone else, and maybe who couldn't hang out together for a decade while looking for a new body would have had fewer options.
for what it's worth, I'm the last person to chastise someone else over guilt, but if you feel the weight is yours to carry, it is yours to carry. What matters is that you carry it.
Also, if I was totally mad at my hatchmate for getting me cracked as an egg, I definitely would not spend a decade living in their same set of feathers. So Suda must not resent you that much because she still shares a pair of boots with you.
She doesn't really have a choice in that matter.
We all
But
have-
she does get back at me in small ways. Do you know how many times I've woken up in a stranger's bed in an inn or something? She's very promiscuous.
Probably more times than I have because I'm not that kind of bard.
Well, Suda likes to live
Is
life
it hard?
when she's in the driver's seat.
Well, she's very nice and she has a way with words. So, no offense, Shield, but most testicular creatures are kind of dumb. So, when you're nice and you smile at them,
No, you have a point. To repay a kindness, I was a guard at a whorehouse for a week or two.
Really?
brothels. I love performing there. Best entertainment. Not for the tassels, but for the boys that get tossed out on their noggins. Always entertaining.
And it was me doing the tossing.
I do enjoy the tassels on occasion as well when I'm not working.
Would you believe I only ever had to kill one of them?
Only one.
Would you believe that if it would have been me, I probably would have killed all of them?
I had an idea.
Your fingers in my feathers in places they don't belong. I'm gonna bite you, and my beak is sharp.
We probably don't want to do this, but I did have an idea about how to handle the chest booger man.
The
Oh?
booger shark.
We could do what Naime wanted to do the first night we all met and just leave town.
Well, it's
I
technically
mean-
not our issue, but
All right, but listen, okay, maybe not your issue, but I do want to eventually become the mayor owl of this town. Okay. And I'm with Shield in the very concerning, do we let it run rampant? Is it our ship that gets eaten next time? Sort of situation.
Yes. I can't exactly allow such an evil to run amongst.
And I also think that the 2,000 gold piece shark was maybe worth 5,000 gold pieces, and a bigger booger monster probably worth like 20,000 gold pieces, which is definitely enough to pay one of those magical religion folks to put Suda back in a body. I spent a lot of time losing my religion, but I will search for one if that's what we got to do to get your sister back. In a corporeal form, because obviously you're here. I'm not invalidating your existence, Suda. I want you to know this if you're listening. Just your corporealness.
I'd offer to help, but a priest didn't restore me, and mine was more of a divine intervention.
I'm pretty sure if we take out an evil thing pretending to be a deity, it will get the deity's attention.
The Harry will probably notice at least.
yeah, you could smite it in your god's name.
That was the plan.
I'm going with sarcasm, and I really liked it. You should do that more often. So I guess we're at my third and final point of what are we going to do, because we're kind of talking about that. I was already feeling a bit guilty of going back and saying that we completed the job when we didn't because of the big monster, when the captain said everything was going to be okay. And then he exploded, which definitely indicated things were not fucking okay. So there's that. But I would also like to get paid. That would be nice. And
Agreed.
I think there's a lot more to taking down a sea monster from a cult than just like stabbing it in its own arena. That's like taking on a green dragon in a forest, and that's the dumbest thing you could ever do.
That is true.
So we're talking about what? Trying to wring more gold out of the town than they probably have, to be honest.
I
Honestly,
mean,
I'd like to take it out of the hides of that company that seems to
The
That's
company has
dirty
gold.
fingers and pies and stuff.
I wouldn't
Also-
necessarily say take it out of the town. I'm just saying that our monster slaying skills are maybe potentially worth more to higher paying folks because it is more detrimental than just to Astoria. And especially since Vestment Intermodal just previously purchased Astoria because our town had unfortunately fallen onto some hardships and somebody had to bail us out. So that's what happened. We got bailed out by Vestment Intermodal. Very Obama Ford 2008 sort of situation going on here.
Very who?
What does that
What?
mean?
You just would have to have read or listened to the Town Crier. It's just a thing. Anyway,
Yeah, I avoid them like the plague.
well, I listen. They're my
there's a-
favorite thing to listen
people-
to in new cities.
Oh.
What'd you say, Sai?
No. Oh, Naime said people avoid the plague. It turns out they don't do that.
Plagues, investment, intermodal.
Oh,
For
yeah.
God's sakes, I just
There's
want to punish
like-
the wicked.
It's like that movement of people who don't like anti-plagues and stuff like that.
So my thought about this booger creature is very similar to attacking a castle. And I used to play this game with pirates. I never actually attacked a castle. So if you have, by all means, after I say what I have to say, intervene. But whenever we played this game, when we would have to take down the castle, there would be 4 posts on the outside, like a sentry post. And you would have to, if you wanted to take down the castle successfully without major losses, you could take down the sentries first and then make it easier to get in the castle to take the main castle down. So what if taking out the booger creature is like that? What if Vestment Intermodal is just one corner of the castle sentries, like the cult is another one, and we just have to pull the legs out from each of them one bit at a time to weaken the main castle to make our main attack of taking down booger, tentacle, monster, song, singer, person easier.
When I attacked a castle garden with my former party, we grew a giant wall of thorns around it first. And then waited for everyone to get hungry before planting seeds among their trees so that the garden could return to the wild.
Now, was this the castle with the princess with the long hair or the spindle?
I do not know. It was the castle that had too many square trees and was unnaturally pruned.
Ah,
But it did have a dragon twined around the tower by the time we finished.
Does it make sense though? Maybe if we weaken the other parts, it would be easier to get to this thing, or we could learn information because usually when sentries are protecting the castle, the sentries know the castle's weak points. So if you capture one of the sentry guards and you make him lay on a table and you put a rat inside a bucket and then you put the bucket on his chest and then you get the pot on the side, he starts giving you information.
You don't have to convince me I was agreeing with you.
Is this personal experience?
yeah.
She was raised by pirates.
Yeah.
No,
I agree anyway,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever we do to this cult or whatever, it's gonna piss off the big baddie. So
What if we join the cult? Sai said
no?
plant seeds. Sai mentioned planting seeds. What if
I
we
was
seed
thinking more
ourselves?
in terms of a siege.
All right, but listen, think about it. If
Yeah,
we
you got to
plant
plant siege.
plants ourselves as seeds in the garden of booger monsters, then we would be privy to information that outsiders are either one, killed for knowing, or two, unable to access, or three, don't even know exists. Because up until we got framed for a murder we didn't commit, we had no idea this cult existed, and we live here. Well, I do now. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what if we join the cult and then we will be able to know things and we could maybe even work our way up and around and take it down from the inside?
Are
Like
you
internal combustion. I
that
could light it
we
on fire from the inside.
Are you
Like eating
suggesting that
spicy.
we become the chest bursters? For
I'm
the cult?
exactly suggesting that we become the ass bursters for the cult and light them up like eating spicy noodles.
Okay, hold on. I'd rather not burst
Wait,
anybody's
ass
ass.
burster.
I mean, I'll kick some ass, but I don't know about bursting ass.
Hey,
He's fighting
I might just
joke.
be overly excited.
But do you know how long it would take to infiltrate a cult that we know very little of and work our way through the ranks?
We are possibly already known by them.
That's the other thing.
Yes. And also, I don't know how long it would take, but it's just an idea.
It's probably
No,
the best
it's-
idea we have.
Yeah, it is a good idea. It would just take forever.
I mean, I might be all fun and games when I'm hanging out with my friends, but I can be pretty fucking convincing when I need to be.
Well, maybe we could send you in as a plant.
Ha 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 ha.
Ooh.
Yeah.
that.
So I'm just going to remind you who's the bard here.
You're welcome.
No. Suda? No. God. I'm dead. All right. I'm dead and I'm alive and I'm dead and I'm alive again.
Damn, she just like me.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Maybe I should ask the cards what a good idea is.
I think that your idea of infiltrating the cult is a good next step. Because if we take your other idea of starting to knock out their outposts, they will know we are coming and we will not be able to infiltrate later.
Well, the outpost was metaphorical, kind of like cutting the legs off a table and the table falls over, sort of thing. I was just comparing it to a game that I used to play whenever I was on the pirate ship. Not all of the pirates were terrible, and there was a galley boy, and he really didn't get treated very nice either, and sometimes pass out from drinking too much grog at night, and we would be cleaning up. We would play the castle game with potato peels and grog bottles.
So I think starting with infiltration makes sense, because then we can find out where the table legs are, and if we need to knock out the table legs, we can do that before we grow the briars around the heart of the problem. But this is the first time I've tried anything this big.
I mean, I haven't done anything quite so big. I may or may not have been involved in some things a time or two, but I won't admit to anything because that's incriminating evidence and statute of limitations in Astoria is still 7 years, and Si and I have only been friends for 2. But
Totally
I still
suspicious.
no such thing. You're the
Are you
people
whale oiling me now?
you are people of ultimate suspicion. You can't call me sus.
Hmm.
All right.
I am so sorry, but I did not understand what you just said. I was following you up until that part, though. I'm down for anything.
Just draw your cards.
I did.
And what you got?
Oh dear.
Okay, I got the torturer reversed, meaning recovery, forgiveness, and moving on. I've got the innocent reversed, which is naivete, gullibility, and recklessness. And I also have the warrior reversed, which is anger, impulsivity, and recklessness. That's on a 3 draw. If I need to do 2 more, I will.
I think 3 is just fine.
Yeah. So is that meaning that my plan is reckless and naive? Possibly so. Spirits say what they want to say, but they are what we call boomer spirits, and they're not really hip to the jive in current times of how you get shit done.
Also, do we have another option? If
I mean,
not, then
we
tell
do. We do have another option. Take our money, fuck off, and pretend none of this never existed, find a new place to live, and go on about our merry, long rest of our days.
Yeah, but then what reason would we need to travel together anymore?
Adventuring someplace where there isn't a giant booger monster that implants seeds of booger bursting into your chest and makes the captain of the ship die. There. No cults. No vestment intermodal.
I don't know. Like, it seemed that even if we wanted to explore other quests, it all seems to come right back to this whole.
No. See, when I was in Glaciava, we had none of this. None of this existed. Of course, they had their own problems, but it wasn't a cult. Nope, it wasn't a cult. It wasn't. No booger monsters and no chest exploding. Stabbings and things, but no chest explodings. We could go hang out there. Are you good at poker?
I'm pretty decent.
But that is the other option. Fuck all the way away from the situation, or tackle it legs first.
I do not have legs, but I will do whatever you all decide.
Might as well take out the legs, but we're gonna have to do this very carefully.
Have you met us? We don't seem to do things carefully.
Which is why this will be a disaster, and I will be there to kill everything.
Well, if we wanted to be more careful, now that we've been adventuring and are becoming more seasoned in the monster slaying business and horny coral, apparently, we could probably brain a plan out where we could do things less clunkily.
When we've tried to do that, things have gone even more wronger than when we just clunk our way through.
No. I will fly up into your branch where I live and rifle through my bag and pull out an empty piece of parchment and my quill and ink, and I will push a bunch of stuff off the table and I will roll out a parchment and I will draw 5 X's and say, okay, so this is us. Okay? Now we could make a plan like this, and then circles and some arrows, and it'll look very Monday night egg ball from back in Astoria with the seagull every Monday night. Usually they lose, but they still try. And it looks like a play, right? So we could plan it out just like this. And if everybody is in their right spot, then it'll go smoothly.
Okay. How do we tell the enemy where you put their triangles so that they will go there?
Well, their triangles are probably already going to be there. We have to get inside the enemy first before we can know what their triangles even are.
Well, that's something I can do several times a day.
Get inside the enemies?
Inside of all of 3 of your heads, you hear. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Exciting. I like it. So, I don't think we should go by our real names when we join the cult, though, because that just is sus. You know? Because then when we leave the cult, then they'll be able to find us by our real names instead of our fake ones. So they'll be looking for a talking tree named Hush instead of Sigh, and it won't be real. There'll be no such person, right? You don't have any cousins named that, right?
I don't know. But also, you do know Sai isn't my name, right?
Yes, but it's a lot easier to say and a lot less frustrating for you on your end.
That is
You
fair.
don't sigh as much when I call you Sigh rather than when I try to call you.
I'm pretty sure you should stop before you call another monster from the depths of the ocean. You are speaking whale.
Oh, hold on. Let me change the dialect. I wasn't attempting to speak whale. I was trying to speak willow. Wrong W.
You have been practicing. Not quite right, but much better. Shield is gone again.
Yeah,
I think Shield went to get more ale.
I think he's getting tired. It's probably getting late.
Oh, Shield is back. Did you bring any of those cucumber sandwiches for everyone else?
I had planned on it and then I ate them all. I am very sorry.
And here I thought I was the rude one.
No,
I will not apologize, but I did fuck up.
Never send Shield for the drinks. Got it.
Well, let's see. What's this? The philanthropist. What is the philanthropist telling me in this moment? Oh, we should be exhibiting unity, togetherness, connection, and partnership. See, my plan is a great idea. For once, I am right. It'll never happen again, and it's probably not actually right, but I'm still carving it in my cup.
I'm in.
Do you think it's going to be hard to convince Nerys to join a cult?
No.
Isn't she already?
The cult of
All
the
we have to
quartermaster,
do
maybe?
is tell her that it's the right thing.
I mean, our intentions are good. Wait a minute. If we do a bad thing with good intentions, is it still bad?
Well, you know what they say. The road to the 9 hells is paved with good intentions.
I thought it was paved with the bones of the damned.
Who had good intentions?
Is
And-
hell hot?
Depends on what level you're on.
The scriptures do, in fact, say it depends on what level you're on.
Yeah.
What's the one that's not? The most like tropically one, but not uncomfortable? Because I want to make sure that we keep
I know
our
there's
level
one that's like
below
all
that.
ice and snow and stuff like that.
None of them are precisely tropical from the mortal descriptions we have available.
I would probably like the ice and snow one, so let's keep our level of sin below that, and then our good intentions won't pave us any farther than where we intend to end up.
Ice and snow
In our
is the
permanent
bomb.
vacation home in the Rocky Mountains somewhere with goats as pets. That's what's going to happen. We're going to live peacefully in the cold circle of hell after we complete this diabolical scheme of taking down a cult from the inside by, in fact, becoming the very monsters that we intend to kill.
See, this is that's yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You
No.
had me going there for a second, and then something went very far to the fucked up zone.
Well, I'm gonna just say straight up. You're asking. I'm one to, put myself in a little bit of danger for some gold, but you're asking that I put myself and Suda into a situation with people and creatures who specialize in mind fucks. Where does that get good?
Also, my soul is marked. I am almost certain that any of their high-level cult shenanigans will notice me like a campfire.
I think by the time we get there, we will have the information required to start killing tables.
I would love the killing tables part.
Killing tables?
The blending in part is the one I find a little disgusting.
The living in the circles of hell was just me being a little inflammatory in the ending outcome of whatever our shenanigans are going to take us to. But if I had a preference for anybody who's listening that makes arrangements for which circle you end up in, I prefer the cold one. Thank you.
Yeah, until you're trapped in a block of ice for all eternity.
You know what? I will not be
that demon. Devil. Demon, devil.
Devils. They're very touchy about it.
The hells are in the devils are in the hells. You've got the demons in the abyss.
But they hang out together?
No.
That's one word for it.
There's supposed to be a river where they keep killing each other?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I listened to Fireside Stories.
Oh, I don't know if joining a cult's a good idea anymore, guys. All of this going to the circles has really got me spinning because I don't want to be in a block of ice, but I don't want to be in a place that burns me. But I feel like doing a bad thing with good intentions is what's going to land us in the place because you planted that seed in my brain, Naime, when you said that. I'm just confused about my plan, and I think it's probably a terrible idea, and we should do something different.
Okay, so we start off by going back to land, burning the boat.
Well, what if the thing can swim?
Or what if it's already
What
in
if it can
somewhere?
swim?
If it can swim, it's probably already swimming.
Or it's in somebody else, gonna explode their breastplate wide open too.
Okay, so we cut open all the people who are here on the crew.
No.
I think not.
No.
Tell me you don't have insides without telling me you don't have inside side.
Most other mortals don't survive that process. It's a messy affair.
Yeah, I would rather not us become the big bad.
Sometimes I concern. Okay, so maybe we make a safe word before we enter the cult. Maybe we make a safe plan for ourselves, or like a code or a phrase or something that if we feel like somebody's getting in too deep, we can use the code to get them out of that, so nobody ends up actually becoming the evil thing. Because sometimes when you're pretending to be something, you end up actually being the thing that you're pretending to be. And I don't really want to be a cultist to a big slimy booger shark eating monster that killed our captain, because this is all crazy and insane and not worth the gold that they're going to pay us for. But
Are you done?
Yeah.
What if we
Actually, I'm not done.
take your plan and apply it in a more a smaller like kind of macro or micro level.
So we
Instead
join
of
the walking camp first.
What's that?
So we become members of the logging camp. That's small scale, right?
There you go. That's actually, of
I
course, getting the foreman to let us in. That's going to be rough after I kind of hung him upside down.
Well, maybe we could pen a letter from Vestment Intermodal that says that we're coming, that they have hired us to work for them as migrant loggers.
Migrant loggers.
I am worried they would chop me down.
We will tell them that you are the tree whisperer, and by having you with us, Vestment Intermodal is making sure that all of their future proceedings are ethically done, and that there is a certain blessing that you put on the trees before they're cut to make them kosher.
Kosher.
Oh, kosher.
No, I don't want to do that. But I will join the logging company if we must.
Well, if nothing else, Sai, you can probably just be our spy.
We could pose as a new measure for
I can
on-season
stay
security.
in the forest
There you go.
and look like a tree and
Yeah,
warn
don't
other
logging
trees.
companies, don't they like tie ribbons around the trees they're not going to cut? And then we can maybe tie a
clear
ribbon around you.
They participate in clear cutting. But I might be able to convince at least some of the trees to wake up and walk away from their camp, which should irritate them enough that they might slip up and tell you something.
What if you hang out with your grandparents and your cousins and stuff, and you spend some time doing family bonding, and you can just use your mycelial network and get all the information from the other trees down there that way? While we're doing the human spying, you can do the nature spying. Well, human, mortal people spying.
I will spy from the forest and do what I can, but I don't think a logging camp will let me in.
Yeah, it just has to be a really safe place for you, because I really always want to save your bark, you know?
Why, do you have a headache? I could make some tea with it.
No, I mean, like, keep your bark safe. You
Okay.
know, like, I don't want anything to happen to your bark or the rest of you.
I feel the same way about your feathers. No
Right.
one can pluck them when I'm around.
Exactly. And I will never let anybody pull your leaves or switches or without your permission or in any malicious intent.
And we will not let Shield eat too many sandwiches, or anyone hit Naime on the head harder than would let Suda come out to play for one evening.
Concussions are bad.
Concussions are bad. So we joined the logging cult first.
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose if we are going for the infiltration route, they might be using a
Well,
more
do you have
feasible
a
method.
better suggestion?
No, most of mine are rather lethal.
Okay.
Mm.
So I've never swung an axe before. Maybe I'll be a scout. I don't
It's
know.
all on the hip and grip.
I don't
Swinging
think
an axe
I
at a
really-
tree.
Yeah, you gotta get your whole body weight behind
Yeah,
it.
it's not too much different
but-
than swinging an axe
But
at a
of
man.
course, Alvira does not have much body weight, so I don't think they're gonna
Yeah, I'm like,
assist as much as we'd like.
Do you actually think infiltrating as... Wait, they said they never see their security people, right?
right.
Because I feel like you guys look more like a security squad than...
Yeah, my suggestion was to fake being on-season security as a new measure for the increased wildlife.
I can encourage the wildlife to be more wild, which makes it seem likely
Mm.
that they would need extra security, because you guys really look more like a security squad than a bunch of loggers.
Yes, but we also went to the logging camp. Here's the part of the plan I didn't really think about. If you remember last time we were at the logging camp, our not really talker friends did the talking with their fistings.
phrasing.
No one hit anybody.
Do you think you could fake some handwriting?
I do think I could certainly try.
We have a mayor who lets us look at documents they probably shouldn't let us look at.
We have a mayor that would probably sign documents they probably didn't if we wanted them to.
There's also that. So could always just fake the letter. They don't seem to get much word from, they call it main office anyway.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Kristaps.
Yes. Him. All they know, one muscle is as good as the next.
What if the mayor wrote us a letter wrote you guys a letter saying that he was sending, that Kristaps had threatened to pull business if the danger continued, so he was sending a town patrol. And since we've been helping the town so much, he hired us.
Yeah, that might be I was just thinking playing the mayor angle is probably better since they do kind of owe us a favor for saving their bark too. The security detail angle seems to work out. And we do have a decent reputation in the town for assisting and catching a murderer who we really should think about that Gendley thing too, because I feel kind of bad for Barnsby being in jail, even though he was kind of a dickhole and he had occult stuff in his basement, but maybe he really didn't murder the guy because Gendley never existed.
Well, we can always go talk to him. And
Yeah,
maybe even see what he has to say about this cult.
It's always possible they're all liars.
Very true. Because it seems more and more that everybody seems to be involved in this conspiracy.
What if the man is a cult too?
I'm not putting it past them.
My God, they're all silent.
Someone should hum the song around
Cyclops?
him while someone else watches him to see if he responds.
I don't know if Mayor Sammy would know or not, but that is a good. We should test Mayor Sammy before we sign Mayor Sammy's signature or have Mayor Sammy sign a signature that we didn't fake.
So trick them into signing something?
Well, I don't think it would really have to be a trick. I think they're a bigger bird brain than me. I'm only a bird brain because I'm a bird with a brain. Their feathers seem to be loose. So I think they would probably just sign it in a tissy, like in a like, hey, can you sign these things? It's like some improvement projects that we want to work on for the town. And they would just be like, yeah, sure, you guys are great heroes of the town, no problem. And you're just coming back to help us do more things. That's really awesome. We're so happy for you, and I don't have to pay you anything. Yes, I will give you my signature. Wow, that's really great. And then we have a
wait, whoa. Money is important though.
Is money important or doing the right thing important?
Yes.
Money
You're
allows
the
me to
one that
continue
said that they
eating.
didn't have money. You said they didn't have money.
No,
You even gave me the guilty look and said, are we going to suck money out of a town that doesn't have any?
No, I was just saying that they probably don't have 5,000 gold to just hand over to us. That's
Well, they're
all
going
I
to
was
pay us
saying.
$2,000 for the shark.
Awesome.
That's what the bounty was. Which actually, I have a bone to pick with this mayor, because how can you ask us to and then publicly post the same bounty? That is vile and underhanded. And I think that is why the mayor will sign our paper, because they did their town heroes very dirty.
Or you can also tell him that we want to reinvest the gold in the projects and get him to sign 3 pieces of paper and put this one on the bottom.
That's kind of like my original plan. A lot more simplified. I like your simple way of thinking. You don't beat
Well-
around the bush at all, do you? You just give
No.
it to us straight. I like it. I appreciate that about you. It's balance. It's good and balancing.
So we're agreed then that's kind of the course that we're going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it.
Cool.
I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, same. I was just thinking that hammock over there is looking really good.
And I need to use the little bird's room.
Shall we call it a night?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to sleep below deck, though, where that booger monster is possibly loose. So I'm
Yeah.
probably going to stay up in my owl's nest. And it's kind of big, and I'm kind of small. So if you and Shield want to like sleep foot to foot around it in a circle, you can. And then Sai and I'll just chill out on the side. We're probably safer up there from the booger monster than we are anywhere else.
We could also take shifts.
I like sleep way too much. Do you know how long it takes to get these beauty into these feathers? At
As
least a
long-
solid 8 hours.
I see. I could always show you how to sleep with your eyes open. You wake up a lot quicker that way.
I'm already kind of creepy enough as it is. I think that would probably make things worse.
Yes, imagine playing jokes on people while you're asleep.
It's okay, Elvira. I will take your watch.
I
I
left
think
it
between the three of
back
us
in
we can.
Astoria.
Yeah. Not that. Just means, and Sai means take your
I reach
shift.
into the holders of
yeah.
my trunk and pull out your watch and go, "No, you didn't. I took your watch."
Oh, I'll put it on.
Oh, you
I
really did
also
take your
meant
watch.
that I would take your shift for watching for the booger monster.
All right. Shield, you got first.
Sure.
Cool. I will get second. Let Sai get the morning sun.
It does taste the best. Thank you.
Mm.
The morning sun is my favorite time to sleep. So I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. Glad you guys got it worked out. Nerese is doing Nerese things. And yeah. Hopefully the first mate is a good captain and we make it back to shore for all of these things to happen. I do not want to die on the ocean.
Yeah,
I
me
don't really
neither.
want to die as it is.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm still a young bird.
We like
Spring owl, if you'll say.
existing too, no matter what level of existence that is. So
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
That's good,
gonna
yeah.
go get into my hammock. Good night. See you all in the morning.